Where does one begin on the final day of April for the Oakland Raiders? One doesn't start with Mark Sanchez. I heard his stupid Gruden impersonation. He doesn't sound like Gruden. He doesn't sound like him at all. No wonder why he sucks as a quarterback. Ugh. I'm not going to do a Gruden impersonation. I just do them on the fly. And I think I can do a Gruden impersonation. Mark Sanchez ought to go into the pasture. But a lot of news coming out on the Raiders. Nothing's very good. You got the Donald Penn thing I mentioned before. Nothing good about that at all. Some of the Raiders were brought into camp. I don't know anything about this guy. He was someone posted his video. I think he's an undrafted free agent. Don't know much about him. This is a clip from, let's see, it would be a tweet showing the Raiders in camp. That's Bryant, that's Switzer. It's called Joseph, I believe. No, is that called Joseph? I never see him without his helmet on. And there's Vanderdouse. And he appears to be ahead of schedule. I'll get it right one of these days. There's Bryant. We're just scrolling through the Bleacher Report. Usually full of a bunch of garbage. It's full of garbage. You go to the NFL. This is interesting. What happened to her over here? Remember she used to speak up? She's a Raider fan. She shut up. She has been muzzled. If you watch this clip right here so I can get another copyright strike. Get it.
9th overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars won the draft for me. The Jaguars came a few plays short of going to the Super Bowl last year. They come out and they sign Andrew Norwell, maybe the best offensive guard in football in free agency, and all eyes were on the draft. What'd they do? They get Taven Bryan, the Wyoming Wild man, one of our favorite guys in this draft. They put him up front. Think about that front five and front seven as it is already. Okay, when you've got Yannick Ngakoue, and then you've got Calais Campbell, and you of course have Marlon. Now you add this guy. You add DJ Chark at wide receiver, and then you have Ronnie Harrison, who's a first-round prospect, slipping to you in the 3rd round. Jaguars clobbered the draft, and that was 30 seconds.
Mad minute, guys.
Oh, nice. Listen, I'm going to...
Taking Nate's time.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. I was talking with Matt Hamilton, and I wanted to go traditional. He said, let's go non-traditional, Nate. Talk about the Tennessee Titans. They only had 4 picks. They went and got Rashaan Evans out of Alabama. He led the national champs in tackles, had 6 sacks as inside linebacker, and then he got the 2nd rounder, Honor Landry, who was one hell of a steal. So I'm going with the Titans.
Let's just pause it right there. How patriotic or patriot-esque, rather, was that? Remember the last year, the Patriots? Yeah, the Patriots only had 3 picks. They couldn't pick till the 3rd round, and they nailed it. A+. Just the Patriots can't do anything wrong. And now the Titans. I'm surprised they didn't go with the LA Rams. That should be in St. Louis. Because compared to the Oakland situation, it's night and day. In St. Louis, they just built that stadium not too long ago. And Raiders had no support at all in Oakland. Obviously, most of their fans live outside of Oakland, or they would have supported them, or they would have got rid of the the local politicians there. They didn't. Because there's no support in Oakland, really. No political support. But this guy comes up.
All right, so I wrote a little something for this. Now, I'm going to go with the Oakland Raiders. We don't know if they won the draft or not, but I love that they went really bold without getting too far into it. Their draft picks are all kind of projects, maybe a little bit of risk involved. Colton Miller in the first round. But how about this? Guys, the Oakland Raiders are going to come out next year, and their wide receiver core is going to be Amari, Jordy, Martavis, and Switzer. It's starting to sound kind of nice. They made some moves outside of the draft that I like. Gruden going offense. I'm excited.
3 favorite picks in the draft.
Okay. He put Switzer into the mix. Switzer was not known for a wide receiver. He's a returner. He is special teamer. I mean, he could wind up being a slot receiver, but they brought in some other guys too to compete with him who are a little bit bigger than him, and we'll see how that goes. But he's not known for being a hands receiver, so you can make what you want out of that, but that could be problematic if you're just going to try to pencil him just because he came from the Dallas Cowboys and taking a peek at the silver and black pride with all the Capital One advertisements all the time. It's always been that way, it seems. Raiders just getting bad grades. Some of the new Raiders took the field today. There's Gruden on the phone. But continuing. Raider fans continue to hate on everything they're trying to do. We are just fans. We sit back. We are not GMs. There's only, you can sit there and hope for a player. I'm sitting there in the draft. This is me in the first round. Okay, I watched the first pick come in. I'm like, what? They picked that guy? I was like, Cleveland's, they're fucking up again. And then the Giants were on the clock, and they were predicted to go with Saquon Barkley. And they did. Okay. Then the Jets were on the clock. They traded up. They were going for a quarterback, so they got their quarterback, Donald or whatever. And then Cleveland's on the clock. Now, this is the spot I'm thinking of because, you know, all the rumors or whatever, the Raiders are going to trade up for Chubb or something or do something. I'm just sitting back and I'm like, I'm like, they draft the cornerback. I can't remember his name right now. And then Denver goes right on the clock and they get Chubb. What schmucks? Cleveland. There's many ways they could have gone about the draft. I know certain positions cost more. You know, running back has been totally discounted these days. Some criticism against the Giants picking a number 2 pick. Then again, so what was Dallas? How high were they up when they picked little guy from Blood-Sucking Freaks? Bonus points if you know what I'm talking about. If you saw Blood-Sucking Freaks, you'd swear Ezekiel Elliott was in that movie. Or at least his midget father or something. His midget uncle or something. I don't know. But, right there. Denver picks Chubb. Although Denver might have picked that cornerback that was ranked so high. Because they got rid of Talib right there. And so on and so forth through the draft. It just keeps on dropping. And then the Rod Woodson pick comes in. The Rod Woodson. I like the Davis family, but I just don't get it. Yes. Yes, we don't get you. That's the problem. Davis should have fired him a long time ago. He should have just like cut bait. I'm not even sure what his role was. It couldn't have been much, and if it was much, he shouldn't be too proud. But the that coin flip, was it a blessing in disguise? Some people are wondering, because the 49ers, as I'm picturing right now on purpose, selected McClinchy. That's his name, right? At number 9, a player the Raiders were scheduled to draft only a couple days before the draft. Remember, the Raiders were not on the radar for an offensive tackle. It was always linebacker, defensive tackle, and he was pretty much there for the first round. May have been some instances, some mention of cornerback or something, but no safeties. A lot of people complain, they should have took the safety there. Like, you know what you're talking about. The Raiders have been stockpiling safeties in free agency, and they drafted Carl Joseph not too long ago, and they drafted Obi last year. They don't need any safeties right now. I mean, they have to figure out who's on their roster. They really need a pass rush. And so the 49ers select this other guy who's better at run blocking. But was that the plan? Was that exactly the plan? Because in my other video, I speculate, based on some other people's speculation, that the Raiders are going to go back to a zone run block scheme. And they need athletic tackles. And so they selected 2 athletic tackles in the first and third round. Okay. Is that a bad thing? Who knows? Like in the other video I explained, based on someone's article, which I thought was a good article, that explained, the difference between a zone blocking scheme and some variations called pull and pin. I fall asleep. Pull and pin. So, is it a better thing that the Raiders fell down the draft right there? I think it's open to conjecture. Because they're getting a guy who's very athletic. I guarantee the guy the 49ers got is not nearly as athletic. They got some guys on the defensive line that are very athletic. Defensive tackles that get at quarterbacks and in the backfield very fast. Should be pretty interesting. Still holding out for Navarro Bowman. I don't know what's going with that. It's like every year the Raiders had some player from the year before. You had Riley. You had I forget some of the other guys, and they don't re-sign them. I don't understand. I don't understand at all. They made some moves here. And Donald Penn, I'm not on Spot Track. I'm not even on Star Trek. So I don't know exactly where Navarro Bowman is, Donald Penn is at, financially, I'm talking about. I mean, what he did over the weekend, is not very good. People can make all sorts of defenses for him, but that is not a very good thing that happened over the weekend. Now you brought the league with their flashlight on the Raiders. Just have the Aldon Smith thing, and it's all about the Raiders. The Raiders Aldon Smith. And I've talked about this before. It's the Raiders Aldon Smith. All his troubles began with the 49ers. He wasn't a Raider when all the crap happened. It might have continued to happen after the Raiders, but it started on the 49ers. Stop blaming the Raiders. So, Donald Penn, 35 years old, he's got a severe foot injury, and he's going to miss all of training camp. He could very well miss games. That's assuming he's even going to make the roster. He's 35 years old. There's a good possibility Donald Penn is let go. Bye-bye. So long. So sorry to see you. I mean, do you really want the league to shine the spotlight on this? Because it's going to happen. It could very well happen. I don't care what his wife said. Nothing happened. I'm so sick of hearing people repeat that. A bunch of stupid kids or stupid adults repeating something about, his wife denied everything now. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. She called the police. She called the police and said her husband or a strange husband came to the house and hit her. And spilled a drink on her. That's all assault. I'm sorry. But that is not a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing in your household. But if you're a multimillionaire with a contract with the NFL that stipulates that you abide by a personal conduct policy, you don't do things like that. If you do things like that, you can get in a lot of trouble. They can sanction you. So don't try to act like it's a good thing. Don't try to act like she's let him off the hook. Like this is all good and fine and dandy. Even the Conley thing is not good. I mean, he hasn't done jack. As a football player, he hasn't done jack. Now he's being sued by his accuser or whatever. I do not see him being so innocent in that matter. He doesn't see him being so innocent in that matter. He screwed up. He's probably going to have to pay something up. She filed a lawsuit at the 11th hour, but it is what it is. You screwed up. You're about to win the lottery, or if you win the lottery, the last thing you want to do is go fooling around like that. I don't know where their brains come from. It's not because I'm older. It's just because I think people are so stupid these days. But just continues. The Raiders suck in the draft. And no one is sticking up for them. And I'm one of the very few. I'm not one of these professional football commentators and all these heavy-weighted, heavy-chested sons of bitches who like to comment and tell me, you know what the fuck you're talking about. They should have selected Edmonds, the 19-year-old. First round. He would have started. He wouldn't have started. Or maybe on special teams. Get a clue. Get a fucking clue. Raiders need a veteran middle linebacker. They can't roll the dice and think they're gonna find Greg Beekett out of the rough. I mean, he came out of nowhere. You're not going to find someone like that that just comes in and immediately becomes a leader on defense. Raiders have a lot of problems right now. It's because of got a new coach coming in. He wants to make this team his own. And there's going to be turnover. It's not complete. And I see no problem in getting rid of some of these players, and that includes Donald Penn. Elevator said, I think he was one of the ringleaders in all this protest crap last year. I understand Marshawn Lynch, because Marshawn Lynch is always, in his mind, always sat in the locker room during the anthem, and it changed under his tenure or whatever, his time in the league, and he was just reacting like that, it seemed like. I'm sure he's got certain opinions about social justice and stuff like that, but it was ridiculous last year, all these stupid protests. Raiders need a shake-up. They need some leadership, and they need some change. And they need to bring some people in here to do the things they want to do. Last year they were trying to do certain things, but the personnel didn't match it. There was no adjustment. So the Raiders really need to set the ship straight, and it's going to be some more bumpy rides. I hope Bowman comes back. In fact, as of right now, based on some of the things that's going on with Penn, I think everyone should consider just what can happen in a domestic situation. How it can happen in a heartbeat. Fred Biletnikoff's daughter. I don't know how she became involved with this guy. I have no idea. But he was in rehab when he murdered her. He choked her out with his own t-shirt. He strangled her to death. And you're going to sit there and act like, oh, he slapped her on the ass. That's nothing. That's foreplay. Oh, he spilled a drink over her. That happens every night at my house. You're just going to act like that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You want to act like that. But are you a millionaire like him? Are you a millionaire going through a divorce and you're over your estranged wife's house? I mean, why did Donald Penn hold out anyway? Was it to get money to satisfy his divorce? I mean, isn't that good? Who's going to come out and say that? Is it going to be Rosenthal? Is he going to be the one to come out and hammer on Penn like that? Who's going to come out and point that out except me? Oh, you're a pussy. You would never say that to Penn's face. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. And I would say, shame on you. You got all this money in the world, and you screw up. You cheat on your wife. You took a vow. You took a vow when you married her. And you cheat on her. I don't care what people think about that, but that's honor. And you took a vow. You cheated on her. And now you go back to your team and you cheat on them. That's what's really going on. You cheat on them and hurt their salary cap position. Raiders are really in salary cap hell right now. Maybe they would have had Navarro Bowman signed if it wasn't for Donald Penn's little fiasco last year. He holds out. He misses all that time in training camp. He comes back in, and offensive line is not the same. Offensive line sucks throughout the year. I don't care what stupid Pro Football Focus has to say. That's nothing but a fantasy gambling site. Get off it. If you are gambling on football, you have no opinion about this matter. Because you're jaded. I mean, you're not jaded. You're slanted. All you can think about is money. You're not thinking about what's really going on. You're sitting there, doing the analytics, looking at the little tiny points. No. I want to see the bottom line. The only line that matters is wins and losses. All this crap, this analytics, is crap. It's stupid college crap. Well, I went to college and I figured out if I could crunch the numbers, I could convince someone that they need to do some changes. No, it doesn't work that way. That's what's so wrong with the world these days. I've seen it a million times in business. Analytics is what's wrong with the world these days. It's just all computers, just crunching numbers, looking at people, demographics. Oh, let's analyze this area over here. Let's do this. Let's do that. What has Donald Penn done for the Raiders? He put them in salary cap hell. He's the reason Navarro Bowman can't be signed. Because he costs too much. Well, who's Donald Penn? He's 35 years old. Last year he confronts a fan, and now he confronts his wife. Like there's no repercussions over this? There could be severe repercussions over this. The police haven't talked to him yet. This happened on Sunday, and on Monday morning, this is when this story broke. This is not a good thing. But remember, last year, he's been fighting with his wife for a long time. He cheated on her a while ago. And last year, he's got to get all this extra money. He's got to get all this extra money for his divorce, not for the Raiders. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? Everyone wants to get paid. But he wasn't living up to it. He was doing that to try to, get as much money for the divorce. He screwed up. He cheated on his wife. And now he's got to pay the piper. But he screwed up big time right now. I don't give a fuck what she said. Oh, he really wasn't physical. It's just a misunderstanding. Yeah, I've seen that before. I've heard that before. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. He could have killed her in an instant. And the police will be looking at it that way, too. Now, it might just hush under the bridge or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's out there now. And do you want that person on your team? I don't think so. I don't know what the salary cap implications are, like I said a long time ago. At least 30 minutes ago, or 28 minutes and 43 seconds. But it's time to let go of Donald Penn. Yeah, he was with Gruden the first go around, and that was a different time, and he was younger. But now he is less mature, maybe, and the Raiders are better off without him if they can save some salary cap space and get Navarro Bowman back. Since they will be changing the offensive run style, they need to put the proper personnel in place. And it's time. It really is. This is outrageous. No one's going to ask this. No one's going to bring this up. But it's got to be brought up. Donald Penn, last year, wanted more money just for his divorce, not for the Raiders, not for, well, it's for himself, but it's mostly for his divorce. He screwed up. He's not willing to own up to it, just like when he confronted that fan. I don't care if that fan was some joke ass, whatever, but he is the one who's going out there and acting like a punk. And that's the problem right there. I wouldn't be surprised if he asked for a contract extension. He doesn't feel like he's getting enough money. Yeah, the Raiders did a good job in targeting two athletic tackles in Miller and Parker in this draft. I hope they can live up, to possible expectations, because the Raiders really need tackles right now. Yeah.